Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. There's another paid request, this time for Shawn. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting any type of videos, topic, reaction, commentary, review, what have you, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or through my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. Now, this is a pretty long movie. It's like 2 hours and 35 minutes, so I don't know if I'll have much to say. I mean, I don't mind Boogie Nights. It's not like a favorite of mine, but I don't think it's a bad film. It's just not really a film I rewatch much, so I don't know if I really have much to say, but I'll do my best, Shawn. So thank you for that. And I will be eating a bit because again, it's a pretty long movie, and I need to get this done because near the end of the month, and I haven't eaten yet, so. And then by the time I get this done, it'll be getting dark out. So, for those who want to follow along, 3, 2, 1, pressing play. So, you got the New Line Cinema logo. Yeah, I'm not eating a meal. I'm just eating some snacks until then I'll eat a meal later. As this horn sounds like it's depressed. I don't remember the movie starting this way. It's been a while since I've seen this film. I don't remember it starting with just blackness and this horn wallowing in self-pity. There we go, there's Boogie Nights. Showcase the greatest hits of the 1970s. I know Burt Reynolds got an Academy Award nomination for this, but then, from what I understand, he hated this movie. I forget the details as to why he hated it, but. Then San Fernando Valley, 1977. Same year, Star Wars came out. Yeah, I don't remember. It's just ironic that the one film he won an Oscar for. I mean, nominated for an Oscar for, is the film he hates. But rest in peace. I miss Burt Reynolds. There's Louise Guzman, hugging Burt Reynolds. We got Julianne Moore, who's Hannibal. She was took over Jodie Foster's character Clarice in the sequel Hannibal. She was in The Lost World, Jurassic Park 2. I think the same year as this, 1997. Jurassic Park 2 came out. First nice shot of the director trying to do this all in one take. Yeah, I put a trust in after Louise Guzman. Hey, make sure you don't mess up the dialogue. Of course, this guy here who be in Step Brothers with Will Ferrell. He also did a good job in Skull Island. And yeah, Don Cheadle. I forgot Don Cheadle was in this. Like, imagine if this girl tripped on her roller skates. I wonder if there are any cuts or edits in this. Which is pretty lengthy. One tracking shot. Pretty solid work. And there's Mark Wahlberg. Now, Mark Wahlberg, that's one of those guys where there are films of his that I did like. He's not bad in this movie. He's good in a movie called Fear. I liked The Italian Job. I liked Painting Dane. I liked The Big Hit. But at the same time, it's like, I think just he felt like he was everywhere, like everywhere I turn. I just got so fucking tired of seeing him. And also, there's so many roles. I'm like, Shooter, I would like better if it wasn't Mark Wahlberg. And like The Happening and Max Payne and Mile 22, the Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes. It's been some awful fucking films too. It just so that's William H Macy, good actor who's in Fargo and among other films. Sorry, I'm not saying anything. I'm listening to the dialogue. Now, Burt Reynolds, pretty sad when he passed away. Because I always enjoyed him as an actor. You know, he did great work. Yes, in Smokey the Bandit, but my favorite of his is actually a film called Hooper, where he's a Hollywood stuntman. Him, Jan Michael Vincent. Hooper, I think, is a bit of an underrated movie. No one really talks about it. And he kind of got typecast in the Smokey, the bandit type of character, playing the bandit. So, a lot of movies are trying to be designed for that type of sentiment. And he wanted to do a bit more serious work way down to, especially the 80s. And there's some decent films he did. Sharky's Machine was one of them. But then, like, the end to the 90s, he really didn't give much in terms of parts. I mean, he was in, what, one of those, what was it, both of them? those made-for-cable Universal Soldier sequels. He was in films like Malone, the 80s to the 90s, which are not much to run home about. I know when he did that film City Heat with Clint Eastwood, it really fucked up his career because while making that film, there was some stunt that went wrong. Where it was supposed to be hit and attacked, I think with a chair or something, but they didn't rig it right, so it really fucked him up. He was out of commission for a bit. And then it got into the news that apparently, oh, he had AIDS and that's why he looked different. Which wasn't the case. But it did affect his career. So he didn't get hired as much as he wanted to. He didn't get the jobs that he wanted or could have gotten. Like I said, he's a good actor. There's not a lot of films get into the 80s and 90s especially that just really showcased his talent. Which again is weird that, the film that gave him an Oscar nomination. Sleep on the couch? See, Burt Reynolds says, the movie just wasn't my kind of movie. Its intimate dealings with the porn industry just made me very uncomfortable. He hated it so much he fired his agent afterward? Wow. I think that was the year he lost the Oscar to Robin Williams in Good Will Hunting. There's that Farrah Fawcett poster that apparently was on every wall of the 70s. Apparently everybody had a Farrah Fawcett and Bruce Lee poster in the 70s. In 2015, Burt Reynolds said, I don't like those people. I feel that they are due for a very hard time because they tried to do legitimate film and they're never going to be able to. It's sad. They were very sad people. They showed up a lot of times on set. It's a one-way street. If you go down that road as an actor, you're finished. And then apparently, Burt Reynolds hated the director to turn down a role in Magnolia. I'd done my picture with Paul Thomas Anderson, and that was enough for me. Producer John Lyons says, I had to pull Burt Reynolds' arm back when it was caught. I was in the middle of it. Burt was ready to slug him, and I was like, Burt, no, 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 don't do it. And I had to take Burt back to the trailer, and I spent a lot of time in his trailer. A lot. Love Burt. Thought he was incredible. He was old Hollywood. There was a lot of people on that set that just didn't really have the time or the interest in it. Personality-wise, we didn't fit. He was young, full of himself. Every shot we did, it was like the first time that shot had ever been done. I remember the first shot we did in Boogie Nights where I drive the car to Grauman's Theater after he said, is that amazing? And I named 5 pictures that had the same kind of shot. It wasn't original, but if you have to steal, steal from the best. Damn. And then while doing Daddy's Home 2, Mark Wahlberg said, I just always hope that God is a movie fan and also forgiving, because I made some poor choices in my past. Boogie Nights is up there at the top of the list. Now there's a good chance maybe he's just teetering around with the crowd, or maybe he's embarrassed to have started a film filled with overt sexual content. I have 4 kids now, I got 2 daughters, I'm married, I try not to let that affect what I do as an artist, but being a dad, it'd be tough to make that decision to do that movie now. So yeah, Don Cheadle's character, for a change of pace, is really into country music, and apparently the boss is, why are you that country music? I think the line he said was, what kind of brother are you? So, obviously, pretty racist fucking boss. And here we got Heather Graham. We're so... Oh my god, fucking asshole. Dude, if you want to suck dick, go in the bathroom, find a guy, dude. Great dialogue. But yeah, I was looking at like Burt Reynolds' career. Like you look at the way the '70s ended. Like Hooper, Smokey and the Bandit 2, 1980, Cannonball Run 1981. These were hits. And Sharky's Machine was kind of his take on doing a. For what I heard, Clint Eastwood did Every Which Way But Loose, which seemed, I guess, more like what Burt Reynolds would do. And then Burt's like, "Oh, you don't go into my territory, Clint? I'm gonna go into your territory." And he did like a serious cop movie like Sharky's Machine. But you looked at like Smokey and the Bandit 3, City Heat, Malone, Rent a Cop, Switching Channels, and then early '90s Cop and a Half. Like 1990 Modern Love, 1993 Cop and a Half, 1995 The Maddening. Which the only I remember about that film is the cover. Striptease, Raven, Meet Wally Sparks. And even after this, it was The Crew, Driven, Without a Paddle. I forgot he was in that movie. The remake, Longest Yard, Boss Hog, Dukes of Hazzard. And, you know, a lot of kind of In the Name of the Teen, Uwe Boll. Not a lot of stuff to really hang your hat on. Endgame with Cuba Gooding Jr. I actually don't mind the Deuce of Hazzard movie. I don't mind Without a Paddle, but like, there's nothing grand of Burt Reynolds, like acting wise, sadly. Just kind of a shame. And was it like 2018 he passed away? So it says that Boogie Nights is based on a mockumentary short film that Paul Thomas Anderson wrote and directed while he was in high school called The Dirk Diggler Story. The short itself was based on the 1981 documentary Exhausted John C. Holmes, The Real Story, about porn actor John Holmes. The director originally wanted the role of Eddie to be played by Leonardo DiCaprio after seeing The Basketball Diaries. DiCaprio enjoyed the screenplay but had to turn it down because he signed on to star in Titanic. He recommended Mark Wahlberg for the role. Joaquin Phoenix was also offered the role, but turned down due to concerns of playing a porn star. Joaquin later worked with the director on The Master and Inherent Vice. Bill Murray, Harvey Keitel, Warren Beatty, Albert Brooks, and Sidney Pollack declined or were passed up on the role of Jack Horner, which went to Burt Reynolds. After starring in Hard 8, Sam Jackson declined the role of Buck, which went to Don Cheadle. Anderson, the director, laid down a hard law when making Boogie Nights. He wanted the film to be over 3 hours long and be rated NC-17. The film's producer said that the film had to be either under 3 hours or rated R. Anderson fought with them, saying that the film would have a mainstream appeal no matter what. Did not change their minds. Anderson chose the R rating as a challenge. Despite this, the film was still 20 minutes shorter than promised. Burt Reynolds did act along with the director while filming. After seeing a rough cut of the film, Burt fired his agent for recommending it. Despite this, he won a Golden Globe Award and was nominated for an Oscar. Later, the director wanted Burt Reynolds to star in his next film Magnolia, but Burt declined. It's funny, it's a 94% Rotten Tomatoes, but with the Cinema Store, it got a C. So yeah, it was nominated for Best Screenplay, Best Supporting Actress Julianne Moore, and Best Supporting Actor. In Golden Globe, it won Best Supporting Actor. Burt Reynolds and not Julianne Moore was nominated for Best Supporting Actress. So Burt Reynolds won a lot of awards for this movie. He won awards at the Chicago Film Critics Association Awards, the Dallas Fort Worth Film Critics Association Awards, the Golden Globe Award, Las Vegas Film Critics Society Awards, LA Film Critics. So all like the critics kept giving Burt Reynolds the award. National Society of Film Critics Award, New York Film Critics Circuit Award, Online Film and TV Association Awards. That'd be awkward. Have sex with a girl in roller skates and Burt Reynolds is watching you. Would be my cup of tea. But would not be my cup of tea. Just me though. Fucking bitch. But I mean, it doesn't showcase why she's this way, and the dad's such a pussy. Dad's a pussy, not doing anything. The mom's abusive. There's no build up as to why this is the case. I guess that's not the point. Exactly. Fucking bitch. What a fucking hole. Ah, the song Mama Told Me Not to Come. Good song. Then the first time I heard that was April Fool's Day, the 1986 film. It was used in the trailers marketing for that, but it's also used at the end of the film. Yeah, John C. Reilly. Like I said, I liked him in Crawl Skull Island. Mainly known for more comedic roles. Squat over a toilet. That's where squat from. What are you doing? Who the fuck is Vince? This is shit. Who's Vince? That'd be my question. Who the fuck is Vince? Why do you give a shit how much he benches? Do you want to bench his fucking ass on your dick? Shut up on the benching. I guess it's to show how sort of in sync these two are. So become one of the reasons they become fast friends with each other. Yeah, the cowboy look is that coming back, man. There's no Roy Rogers and John Wayne. That's that coming back. Yeah, Luis Drew's been there. I mean, he's been in like everything. Like this guy, you look him up, he just. I mean, like the last time I saw him, review wise, was The Substitute. And this guy was in Traffic. This guy was in The Hard Way with Michael J. Fox and James Woods. He was in Out of Sight. He was in Crocodile Dundee 2, Cowboy Way, Snake Eyes, Bone Collector, Anger Management, Dumb and Dumber When Harry Met Lloyd. The Last Stand, he's one of the deputies working with Arnold Schwarzenegger in The Last Stand. Underrated film. Now that guy who's the colonel, that older guy that came out of the car, I believe his Robert Ridgely. He was the mayor in Beverly Hills Cop 2. I think he's the guy actually defending the cops and getting the asshole fired at the end. The guy who plays the colonel there, well, he's not on screen now, but I think that was the mayor in Beverly Hills Cop 2. I think sadly he passed away the year this came out. And Don Cheadle, I mean, the first time I ever saw him was Hamburger Hill. Very underrated Vietnam movie. One of my favorite Vietnam films, Hamburger Hill. And of course, this is well before he would be in the Marvel Universe. But yeah, this same year he was in Volcano. which I enjoyed. But see, the thing with actors, they'll do the big budget movie that try to get more stature, and then they'll do like the movie that will hopefully get more critical acclaim. So Julianne Moore did Lost World Jurassic Park 2, and then she also did this movie, 1997. Don Cheadle does Volcano, but he also does this film, 1997. And I love Volcano. Yeah, but before this, he was in Hamburger Hill, Colors, The Meteor Man, Things to Do in Devon When You're Dead. After this, he'd be in Out of Sight, Bulworth, Mission to Mars, Rush Hour 2, Ocean's 11, among others. I mean, nowadays he's in the Marvel Universe as well as Space Jam 2. I mean, this whole scene is pretty much like it's just establishing the party scene of the late 70s. So Julianne Moore is pretty much just looking at what's potentially their newest potential biggest star. Up there's his wife cheating on him again, which will lead into, I do remember that later on. He's tired of his wife cheating on him, and will lead to and that's the thing. It seems like this really weird, tragic but goofy side story until ultimately he snaps. Now this guy here on the right, I recognize him. That's Ricky Jay. I believe he's a magician. Like he's an actor. I remember he was on the X-Files episode, The Amazing Malini, I want to say. But yeah, he's like an expert on magic and sleight of hand type of stuff. Sadly, I think he passed away in 2018, the same year as Burt Reynolds. But yeah, he was on the. I remember him the most from the X-Files episode, The Amazing Malini, from season 7 or so. Of course, yep, he's going to witness as well. Yeah, I think that guy behind. Yeah, that guy in the middle with the glasses. Yeah, I think that. Just slapping the shit out of the guy. Yeah, I think that guy with the sunglasses, I think that was the mayor in Beverly Hills Cop 2. Jesus. And that is Philip Seymour Hoffman. Sadly, another guy was passed away. Which he was, I mean, I think the year before he was in Twister. And he'd be in The Big Lebowski, Almost Famous, Mission Impossible 3. Hmm. That's kind of a okay, like that kind of humor I did find funny because he's like, "Well, let me see it," and just this kind of frozen look on his face, like as if I had shock, wonderment, maybe dollar signs, just mesmerized behind his eyes, all the above. So you're drunk as shit. So take another hit. That cocaine. And you talk a lot more profane. So John C. Reilly here on the left, like one of the early films he was in was Couch Duties of War. He was one of the soldiers that assaulted the woman, and Michael J. Fox saw it and wanted to turn them in. He was in Days of Thunder with Tom Cruise. What's Eating Gilbert Grape. The River Wild, I forgot he was in that. Then after this, he was in The Thin Red Line, Perfect Storm. Dirk Diggler. So, I mean, you see early on this kind of innocence, and he's easygoing and just going with the flow. I'll do whatever you want me to do. I'll do whatever you say. And he may be shy, timid, awkward, But again, the show is kind of innocence and first get into this business, and then later on you see corruption of fame, getting too big for his britches, drug use affecting moods, all sorts of stuff. Which, I mean, is typical for a lot of people. They get famous for being flat out honest. A lot of films. I mean, a lot of people are going through that. And a lot of films that detail that as well. I know one thing I saw recently about Quentin Tarantino. They had asked him about this film. He said the one thing that bothered him was there's a moment where Burt Reynolds' character, he's looking at this and he's like, this is the best film I ever made. And Tarantino was like, oh, that's bullshit, because he could clearly see this film's a piece of shit. And, well, the director doesn't admit this, but I know this guy Burt Reynolds played is representative. I forget what the director's name was he mentioned, but as representative of this other guy. And it's like, that guy would know that the film he made was shit. He would not sit there and go, this is the best film I ever made. It's interesting. If you look up Quentin Tarantino Boogie Nights, that was kind of his first thoughts on it. I don't even know if he liked or hated the movie, but it's just interesting. But I mean, it's like everything. You disagree all you want. I mean, I like Tarantino a lot. I really do like a lot of his movies. But he's also the same guy that said that the '80s was one of the worst decades for films. He said the '50s and the '80s. Now he says today's age, which he's right about that. But before he said that, Tarantino said that the '50s and the '80s were the worst decades for films. I have no idea what the fuck he's talking about. But, you know, it is what it is. So the director, the first film he did was a crime film called Hard Eight with Philip Baker Hall, John C. Reilly, Gwyneth Paltrow, and Samuel Jackson. And then after that, he did this film, Magnolia, Punch Drunk Love, which is probably my favorite Paul Thomas Anderson film, because I thought Adam Sandler did a really good job as a guy who had all this anxiety and inner rage, and but then also a nice little love story as well with him and Emily Watson. I don't think I saw the other stuff like The Master and Inherent Vice. They just don't seem like my kind of movie. They just don't. That's just me though. They just don't seem like my kind of film. I guess it's kind of one of those. That's the whole point of the film, is that you have this dialogue of come on the tits, come on the stomach. But it's trying to be also sweet. Like Julianne Moore's character is trying to be like the mother figure that he didn't have. Like he had an abusive mother, verbally abusive. So now here's this person who is just being very kind and reassuring, and everything's going to be okay, and calm to the point of you try to make him comfortable, and you have this mother figure, and then she's also like, You tickle my teeth, tickle my stomach. A bit of that comedy aspect to the film as well. Now, 1997, I mean, that year, there's quite a few good movies that year, I gotta say. There's quite a few movies in that year that I do quite enjoy. I mentioned Volcano, I love that film with Tom Lee Jones. Drive with Martha Costas, personal favorite of mine. Kadeem Hardison was in that. Con Air, The Fifth Element. There's Metro with Eddie Murphy. One of Eddie Murphy's more underrated films, in my opinion. There's just the fucking dialogue. I mean, that's the thing. It's meant to be bad. It's meant to be awful. It's meant to be terrible. Because you did watch. If you did watch, I mean, that's the thing. I didn't really watch a lot of these type of films back in the day. I really didn't. I more used my mind. And then with the state of the internet, I'm just not a story guy. I don't really care about story. So that's the thing. When growing up, I didn't watch these type of stuff. Once you see something on Cinemax, but it's like, well, whatever. I use more of my mind than anything, not to get too personal. But that I said I didn't really. So this whole thing felt like, what? This is how they were? Shit. But in 1997, you also had Austin Powers, the first one. You had Beverly Hills Ninja. Because I like that technique, going to the camera, showing what it looks like within the camera, the image, in a way sort of entering into stardom for Mark Wahlberg's character. The first bit of film for him that's going to enter him into fame and stardom in this industry, that is. The other 1997 films, Nothing to Lose and Money Talks. Nothing to Lose with Martin Lawrence, Money Talks with Chris Tucker. Yeah, Sally, those films not on Blu-ray. Anyway. Yeah, it changed the film. Here we go. I mean, I could imagine, like, if you maybe seen this in the film. I mean, in the film. If you saw this in a theater, it'd be kind of for people that if be like, I don't know if I want to see this in the theater. Maybe you'd be more comfortable watching this type of stuff at home when you're not having like 30, 40, 60, 80 people around to be like, oh, hey, how's it going? How's it going, man? Oh shit, that type of thing. I mean, granted, I never need to see Mark Wahlberg's O face. Never really need to see that. That's just my opinion. But, you know, it is what it is. Now that addiction of fame. Sorry, I'm just listening to the music. Sorry about that. Now, again, the connections, do you have more in that fame and possible some type of fortune as well? Spanish pantaloons. Or pantalones. Were reviews really like these for these pornography movies? Did they really review movies like this? I guess, maybe, I don't know. Yeah, I guess for Mark Wahlberg, even though I guess a part of him is like, I think it like when he said he regretted doing this film. I'm trying to think like what he did right after this, because like box office wise, it made a little bit of money, but I'm just trying to think. filmography wise. Like, this is after he did Basketball Diaries and Fear. So after this, he had The Big Hit, you had The Corruptor, Three Teens, The Yards, The Perfect Storm, Planet of the Apes, Rockstar, Truth About Charlie, The Italian Job. And that's the thing, like, despite me having issues with, I don't mind this film. I like The Big Hit quite a bit. Fear, I actually did mind. I hated The Corruptor. Just really did not like that film. That was a waste of Chow Yun-fat's talent. Three Teens I enjoyed. Not a fan of The Perfect Storm. Not a fan of his Planet of the Apes. I really like The Italian Job. I don't mind Four Brothers. Departed I don't mind, but then The Happening I hated. Max Payne I hated. But I like the other guys, but I'm not a fan of Ted. I like Painting Game, but Two Guns I thought was mediocre. Not a fan of the Transformers movie he was in. Not a fan of Ted 2. Mile 22, Spencer Confidential, hated those two. Uncharted, fucking garbage movie. Especially after playing the games, even more of a fucking garbage movie. Garbage fucking film. Winning all the awards. Rewarded with all the awards. Just like instant fame. Overnight fame, it seems. But after you get too, no pun intended, cocky for your own good and thinking your shit doesn't stink, and I don't know if this film needed to be 2.5 fucking hours long. That's the other thing would be, like, did this story need to be told in 2.5 hours long? I mean, it's well filmed. It has a pretty good cast with Don Cheadle, William H. Macy, Philip Seymour Hoffman. Has a great soundtrack of 70s hits. And like I said, Mark Wahlberg is not bad for what he's told and given to do. He's not. He isn't. Like I said, I just don't know if it needs to be 2.5 hours long. Like, I still got 90 minutes left of this movie, man. And even I'm like, I don't know what else to talk about. So we get to 1978 and let the success train keep going. Yeah, but you're starving. So their story just did get turned to a film by Jack Horner. Just like this in the middle of this cop movie and all this stuff they're doing in the 70s, like wannabe Starsky and Hutch. This guy trying to do kung fu. The fucking clothes. I kind of want to see, like, this movie. John C. Reilly, you know, this being this fucking Trump wannabe. It needs to be like a tape, be like a companion piece to Black Dynamite. They try and do these fight scenes. And that's the thing when you do stuff like this, like you think if the movie's bad, so you're intentionally trying to make it bad. But at the same time, like when they were making these films back in the day, maybe not that, but they really wanted to make a good film, so they didn't purposely make it bad on purpose. At least not usually. So it's a thin line, like how bad do you make it where you go, yeah, it's a bad film, but we wanted to make it a good film, so sometimes do go overboard and make it seem like a bad film, so it becomes like parody. It's like, well, you know, they weren't really making films like that. It's a fine line, I guess. What kind of painting is that? Definitely successful here. Damn, that's a lot of money for that time period to afford all this. There's the statues. Still this bit of innocence of fame and fortune before the corruption begins. Mainly drugs and ego. Even like Jean-Claude Van Damme. Maybe not in the porn industry, but just the action movie industry. Drugs and ego start that decline. Yeah, that is a pretty nice looking car, damn. I say it is a pretty good looking car, I gotta admit. Very good looking car. More scenes of this film. The fact you like almost delayed sound effect of the punch. You know, give you chip. Yeah, that was the scene Tarantino was talking about. Him saying, "This is the best work I've ever done." He's like, no, the director that you're basing the look of this character on, he would never say that. And that kind of bothered Tarantino. That this is a guy that would know he made a shit film. He would not call it the best thing he's ever done. It's like, no, that wouldn't be the best thing he's ever done. So he wins more awards. 1979. Winning more awards, being more on top, being more successful. But when you get to the top, where do you go? You either try to maintain that top, or the only direction you go is down. Really? No, I don't understand. Explain it to me again. Uh-oh, I think Don Cheadle's wife is gonna go somewhere else. You sure you're not like a car salesman, dude? I think Don Cheadle's wife is gonna leave. Ah, he was in the director's previous film, Philip Baker Hall, who plays. Uh, wait, is he? Is he even listed here? I don't think he's listed here in the IMDb credits. But yeah, he was in the director's previous film, Hard 8, in 1996. Who sadly he passed away last year in 2022. And he was in a lot of stuff, Philip Baker Hall. I would say I remember the most as the captain in Rush Hour 1 and 2. Actually, Rush Hour 2, they deleted his scenes, but mainly Rush Hour 1. He was a captain yelling at Chris Tucker. Well, sometimes yelling, sometimes not. But he was in a lot of stuff as well. He was in Air Force One. He was in whoa, Thomas Jane. Wow, Thomas Jane, a young Thomas Jane, with the big old mustache and the red shirt. Well before the 2004 Punisher film and The Mist. That's a very young Thomas Jane. Yeah, he does not look comfortable in that whole fucking thing there. Not one bit. With that wig, it felt like he was doing any minute I was seeing super freak, I'm super freaky. You're a super freak, super freak. You are a super freak. You say you open your own business. Yeah. Hmm. And then sort of the mother figure that he never got. With Sally, this is going to be... Sally, the mother figure, leads to another self-destruction. Cocaine. Dan, you wonder? I'm sorry for some of the silent spurts. I'm listening to the dialogue. I don't want butter on my ass. I don't know why you want that, but... And Sally, I mean, this guy, I mean, the character he plays is right. Video was the future of the porn industry. Because the thing of it is, think about it, which would you rather prefer? Would you rather prefer going to a cinema, some type of movie theater where there's 20, 30, 40, 50 people around you, and you're watching it, but then this uncomfortable bit of you're not alone, unless you're an exhibitionist, then you would like it. But a lot of people aren't. Or to see it at home in the privacy by yourself or with your girlfriend or with your wife or with your boyfriend or with your husband. And it was the future. That absolutely 100% was the future of this whole thing. I mean, that's what happened. And that's why whenever there was a new home video format, more than likely the one that won was the one that serviced pornography. You know, that's why VHS, I think, won. One of the reasons it won over Betamax and stuff. Same with DVDs and Laserdisc. People got more in DVDs. One of the reasons was pornography. Not the only reason, but one of them. Even... See, like, when that was the thing that went in the direction, that's where a lot of the fellow people went to and would go into. Now, this whole bit here with Seymour Hoffman is you find out he pretty much has a crush on Mark Wahlberg's character. As much as I like Seymour Hoffman, like I said, I'm thinking of stuff that could be cut out for the 2.5 hour running time. Like, did this really need to be in there? Not really. I mean, you could have cut this out and nothing would have changed, except improved pacing. Like I said, I like Philip Seymour Hoffman as an actor. It's just I didn't give a shit about this subplot. I didn't give a shit about the story where he's a big fan, has a crush on Mark Wahlberg's character, blah blah blah. Just didn't care at all. It's one of those in another movie I could see them doing where he's in love with him, and because he doesn't reciprocate, this guy ends up shooting Mark Wahlberg at the end, and it becomes one of those movies where this follows through at the end of the film, and that's what leads to his death or something. But yeah, obviously they didn't go in that route. I'll be right back. Alright, had to get some stuff done. I'm paused at 1 hour, 21 minutes, and 21 seconds. 3, 2, 1, pressing play. Sorry about that, I had to get some stuff done. Yeah, this is when he finds his wife cheating one more time, but decides to end it all. And in a way, this big event kind of signifies the good times have ended. The good times are not rolling anymore. So for these people, the free love and fun of the 60s and 70s are now getting to much more of the different time of the 80s. More cocaine, more just knowledgeable on diseases, things of that nature. And this is where he's had enough is enough. Now, why couldn't I just get divorced, take pictures, and show infidelity? I don't know. But maybe that's things were different in 1979 compared to today's age. Nowadays, it's like just take pictures or get divorced. But more so, it was like he was tired of the embarrassment. He was tired of being embarrassed, and he's going to make, in his opinion, the beach pay. And this does become the start of sort of the downfall of this whole group. Because he kills her and he ends his own life. More cocaine use. His career dwindles. I think he like gets fired or something, and then thinks he's going to be a music star. And William H. Macy, I mean, he's a good actor. Like, he was in Fargo. He's in this film I do quite enjoy called Cellular with Chris Evans and Jason Statham. Underrated film, in my opinion. Done a lot of stuff here. Yeah, I mean, I would assume the audience, when they see this, they kind of know what's up. And they just know what's going to follow. But I don't think they show... I think we hear the gunshots. Which makes sense. I mean, we get the... Boom, boom. We kind of get the whole deal. Yeah, talk about a cut from blowing your brains out to boom, the 80s. fucking dial. I mean, I do like their attempt to make it look like old interview footage. I do like that detail. So the color is a bit faded, and the sound effects, the way the audio just sounds older. I don't know how else to word it. Yeah, and these two guys, don't they try to be music stars and it doesn't work out? Now, they say series of films, but it looks like all, like, could be all from the same film. Her reaction, ugh. Like I said, I almost want to see just that film, as bad as it is, compared, yeah. But, yeah, like I said. So, let's see, look at trivia. Yeah, after seeing a rough cut, Burt regretted making it. He fired his agent for recommending the role. He did not participate in promotional interviews. Despite being frontrunner to win the Oscar, it was widely rumored that he did not win because he had distanced himself from the movie earlier. I guess maybe people kind of, in a weird way, maybe forgot that Burt was in it, or something like that, so... Paul W. Anderson simulated the dialogue in the fake porn movies by adapting actual dialogue from real porn. He said he did so people could not say the porn dialogue sounded fake. So there you go. I just see it ending with that kind of look into the sunset, however you want to put it. A group of teens on an early screen started cheering when Little Bill grabbed the gun. Paul W. Anderson was also at the screen and felt that he had screwed up the entire scene. The teens cheered when William H. Macy killed his wife and lover, but then fell silent when Macy's character killed himself. That was the reaction Anderson wanted. Yeah, the Colonel's in deep shit. Yeah, the Colonel is in deep shit in jail here. This is the guy that was financing his movies. So this guy's arrested because of underage person he was with who overdosed on cocaine. But I think they also find pornography of an underage stature as well. What they find. I thought Burt Reynolds did a really good job showcasing this. The way he is on the phone, kind of this realization of what's going on, what this person did. Now he's completely ignoring him. You tell he's just shut down. He's not listening to a word this guy's saying. He's looking at him in a different way, in a different form. You look at Burt Reynolds, he's like, I don't know who this guy is anymore. He's like, yep, I don't know who this guy is anymore. I don't know who this person is anymore. I'm looking at a total stranger. I don't know what he said, but something like you're still my friend, are you? Or something like that. Questioning, obviously no. And we're a few years later, 1982. The year John Carpenter's theme, Blade Runner, First Blood, Conan the Barbarian came out. 1982. So you start to see this downfall. William H. Macy ends his life. The finance is gone because of what this guy did. Now the more cocaine usage we want to showcase. And this downward spiral, I mean. Johnny Doe. I don't know who plays this guy. I'd have to look him up. But obviously a showcase of competition and like now that it's I guess if it's 77, this is 82, so it's been 5 years. You know, maybe after 5 years, this journey's coming to an end for this, and not much more in the drugs. 83 now. Jonathan Quint is the actor's name. Yeah, now this cocaine, whether it's showcasing paranoia, whether it's showcasing his downward spiral. Hey, cocaine did that for a lot of people, as well as other drugs. Hey, this seems like he's in good shape. I think this is where you find out he can't get hard because of the drug use. If that's the case, then kind of gonna fuck up his career. Yeah, that's it. Pretty good shape. So now here's him being selfish and do it now, being childish, being paranoid, thinking he's going to be. Which here's the thing: Burt Reynolds' character never showed. I mean, he was talked to another guy, but he never showcased that. Yeah, I'm gonna. At this point, I'm gonna replace you, all that jazz. But yeah, now he's being confrontational. Now he's being a diva. Now he's being again filled with ego. I think this is around the time where he's going to get fired. I mean, it's so long also because they have. I get it. They have all these other characters and they get into what's going on with them, like the whole thing with Don Cheadle and like he can't. He marries someone. He can't get a job. Like he can't get a loan. Yep. And then again, that's what drugs. I mean, drugs. Let me see. I've never done cocaine, but this cocaine is one of the side effects mood swings. I would assume so. Cocaine can cause short-term and long-term mood swings. Let's see if just curious what this looks like. God, this whole bit here. How they got onto this song, I wonder. How they got this song in there. Now, of course, this song Stan Bush would sing in Transformers the movie, which that came out. What year was that? 1986. Of course, absolutely show. Of course, this is kind of the irony is that Mark Wahlberg was a singer before this. He had a band. He was a singer before this. That's kind of the irony of it. So the fact that he was a musician before all this, and now he's doing this and he can't sing for shit. Again, singing bad on purpose. Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. They had a few albums. Good Vibrations was the big song they had. Good vibrations, boom, boom, boom. But God, just awful fucking singing. Jesus. Make birds have heart attacks, make the fucking doves cry with this singing. Make dogs have strokes. So the effects of cocaine addiction: anxiety, depression, coma, psychosis, stroke, heart attack, permanent change to heart rhythms, blood-borne disease, legal problems, unemployment, divorce, and domestic violence. Signs and symptoms: mood, anxiety, restlessness, irritation, panic, fearfulness, euphoria, feeling superior to others. Behavioral: extremely talkative while high, increased energy levels, stealing or borrowing money, increased mental alertness, decreased need to sleep while high, increased need for sleep after usage, erratic bizarre behaviors, violence, legal problems, abandonment of one's pleasurable activities in order to get high, continuing cocaine use despite mounting problems the drug is causing, neglected responsibilities at work or school. In the deleted scene, Dirk Diggler crashes his Corvette into a telephone booth. The scene was deleted because of time, but the car still remains wrecked when Dirk visits Guy's house, drives away and drives back to Jaz's house. When Dirk and Rita are conspiring to rob his house, Dirk says that'll be enough to get the Corvette fixed. So, yeah, this shows obviously how all the lives are kind of not going the best. Burt Reynolds' character is doing more videos now because it's the way to go in the future. You have this new star that just doesn't have the as much as the it factor as Dirk Diggler, and he's a lot less interested in doing interested to see this type of edit, to see just sort of this rinse or repeat self-destruction as time passes. But yeah, like they can't get their bank loan, other people are addicted to drugs, other people just lost their passion for their business. One Mitch Macy's character is loosely based on porn actor Cal Jammer. His girlfriend Jill was having a secret relationship with actress PJ, and another with a male porn actor. Cal Jammer later shot himself in the head on his girlfriend Jill Kelly's front lawn. Yeah, if you have to fucking ask, yeah, there's obviously some issues and problems going on with you guys, more so than she can handle. Yeah, you're not getting the thing because you suck at singing. You're not good. It's not working. You need to move along. Sorry, sayonara, pal. Like I said, I get what they're doing. It's just, again, this drags. And there's 50 minutes left. And I don't remember there being that much left of the fucking film left. What I remember is Burt Reynolds is going to film the scene with Heather Graham, and someone she remembers from school is going to fuck with her. So Burt and Heather beat the shit out of that guy. There's a meeting where these two deal with Thomas Jane, and I think it's Alfred Molina. That goes haywire. There's a bit of a firefight happens. And with the no, it's not. That's what happened because you fucking suck at singing, so shut up. So a little bit more in the trivia. Burt Reynolds hated the idea of doing a movie promoting the porn industry and turned the Jack Horner role down 7 times. According to William H. Macy, his agent discouraged him from reading the script. Macy read the script, loved it, and signed on to do the film. Instead of following the template of having the characters change and be different people at the end, the director decided against it. That doesn't really happen here. Everybody's the same. Maybe if there's a change, it's like 1 degree. Normally you see a 90-degree change in the movie. To me, they're all pretty much the exact same people as they were at the beginning of the film. Movies about finding a family to tell you the truth. I know that sounds kind of preposterous because it's about porn. That's really kind of weird thing is that you want to say, well, it's about the industry. But not really. But I think ultimately the thing that I really like most and really focus on is about a lot of people searching for their dignity and trying to find any kind of love and affection they can get. And they find it. William H. Macy on Inside the Actor Studio said that Nina Hartley, who played his character's wife and was a real-life porn star, gave all the cast ideas of her own porn films. Macy's present was a copy of Nina Hartley's Guide to Anal Sex. Shit. After filming the devastating scene between Mark Wahlberg and the angry mother, the woman who played the mother asked the director if the material reflected the relationship between him and his own mother. The director became very quiet and did not answer the question. The actress then put a hand on his shoulder and said, "You don't have to forgive her." Years later, in an interview with Mark Maron, Paul Thomas Anderson reported that he had recently gone to his mother's house, gotten down on his hands and knees, and apologized to his mother for his attitude toward her in the past, for not being more understanding of her. Well, I mean, if she was the abusive one, then you shouldn't have done that, but I don't know what the whole deal was. Burt Reynolds said in a Maxim magazine interview that he had researched his role by visiting porn sets and talking with real porn actors. He said the experience made him want to wear rubber gloves and take a shower afterward. So yeah, Burt Reynolds really, really, really hated the porn industry. It seemed pretty damn adamant. Mark Wahlberg originally didn't want to do the film after the high-profile failure Showgirls. He changed his mind after reading the script. Yeah, that's true. Showgirls had just come out that seemed like this erotic, hey, that's Paul Verhoeven, but then you see the result and is this going to be like a camp fest? And this director was not an established director either. It wasn't, oh, it's Paul Thomas Anderson, of course. Paul Thomas Anderson spent a year hanging out with Ron Jeremy to research the film. Ron Jeremy was originally going to have a cameo, but got cut. Well, that's ironic. It entailed him being in a prison cell with the colonel. Which is ironic, because Ron Jeremy probably think he is in prison right now. I think. If not, he's close to it. Actually, is... Let me double check. Yeah, and died on 34 counts of sexual assault. He's been in prison since his arrest in 2020. He was in a state of incurable neurocognitive decline. Man. I mean, this whole bit, I mean, to be perfectly honest, I like Julianne Moore as an actress. I get what they're going for. I couldn't say I cared a whole lot about what's going on with her character and her kid. It was like, whatever. This feels like a director's cut. But I know it's the full, the only movie, but it just felt like a director's cut that some of the stuff would be edited for a bit more mainstream movie, but it wasn't, so. At one point, an angry Burt Reynolds threw a punch at the director because he felt that the director was disrespecting him. The assistant director tells the story. Burt got so frustrated he pulled Paul outside into the backyard and started yelling at him like a father, You fucking little punk kid, don't tell me what to do. Someone else added, all of a sudden we saw fists flying. We saw some fists flying from Burt Reynolds. Hope I don't get in trouble for saying this, but it was like he was trying to punch our director in the face. Burt Reynolds was also involved in a heated scuffle with Thomas Jane? Nah, I never heard that before. Wonder what the deal with that was. Oh, I guess there's actually an interview on the Rich Eisen show. In the DVD audio commentary, the director and Mark Wahlberg imply that Reynolds was on drugs during filming? I don't know. Let's see. Let's see if there's anything else in the trivia. Burt Reynolds, Strand Report. Walt Wahlberg became a devoted Catholic and father in later years. He later claimed to have been joking, but maintained that although he doesn't necessarily regret being in the film, he would not be able to explain doing such subject matter to his children any longer. So, there you go. He was joking about the film, but maintained that he wouldn't be able. If it was offered him today, he wouldn't do it. Heather Graham did not get any meaningful roles, and even considered to set apart in a softcore erotic movie. What saved her from career in porn was an offer from Mike Myers and Austin Powers 2. Heather Graham has since refused to answer any question about Boogie Nights or cooperate with the retrospective cast reunion. Burt Reynolds, Wahlberg, Graham never worked with him again. Let me see. Yeah, I'd have to look at this interview because the written interview doesn't say anything, but I'd have to look at this video interview. Can't do that now, but yeah, this is the bit with video on Heather Graham. This guy, like they knew her in school, so it becomes that bit of a weird. This is kind of like the, I don't know, taxi cab confessions, or I don't know if people remember that. I don't know what the hell else it would be called. I'm sure there's probably something you find that's similar to this. And now he's whoring himself out, Mark Wahlberg's character. Whoring himself out. Because remember earlier in the film he said, you know, people could watch for, look at for 5 or watch him for 10. I think there's a bit here where Burt Reynolds sees how uncomfortable Heather Graham is, and he does that get into the director's idea of family. See, that's why you don't have an actor. This is not an actor, it's something else. I guess this is maybe showing, I guess, the dark side of it all. It's not all sunshine and rainbows. Both have their own uncomfortable states. As you can tell by the music, like a damn gone. Don't piss off Burt Reynolds, I'll say that. Don't piss off Burt Reynolds. Yep. Now he's just budded and beating the shit. Damn, she's just wailing on the motherfucker. Wailing. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. In a way, it's kind of, in a weird way, interesting where I guess in a typical film you would have the lady be assaulted and the guy proving his manhood to beat the shit out of someone. Which I guess in this case would be Burt Reynolds. He did it, but now it's actually the lady showing her strength and beating the shit out of this guy as the guy being assaulted. So it's an interesting, I don't want to say twist, but interesting thing they did with that. Yeah, with that same fucking music, boom, boom, boom. I didn't realize just how long this fucking music had the same beat for it. Just sort of this, as the bell toll, for whom the bell toll. Yeah, it is like a bell. It's like, for whom the bell tolls. Sort of the going to be the realization, culmination of all these people and what they're going to be. Their rest of their life is going to be showcased. In this case here, he gets robbed. Is he going to get killed? Is he going to get murdered? And instead, everything else happens, and he gets away with the money that he needs to start his business. One guy gets beaten up, and one more event gets him farthest down on the pipeline before he's realized maybe he had a good thing going. And Burt Reynolds like, Taylor's like, I'm not going to sell out anymore. That's okay, yeah, I see the Santa in the back. It is Christmas time. Oh, shit. This guy looks like one of the people from the Warriors. Come on, play, Warriors. This guy, I think he's Charles Bronson. Oh, shit. Yeah, this guy, I think he's fucking Dirty Harry. Ooh. Ooh, right in the head. Of course, back in the day, I guess before, nowadays, you couldn't just leave this crime scene. You'd be found and caught very quick, but I guess, back in the day, no cameras. I guess fingerprint-wise, he didn't really touch much except the door, and a lot of customers touched the door. And hey, for him it's like, long way down, one last thing. Yeah, this is where you get to the last bit of business. So I'm looking at this interview with Thomas Jane, and apparently the director had told Thomas Jane, "We'll keep the cameras going, but fuck with him on a bit on purpose to get a reaction." And the director had neglected to tell Burt Reynolds this. So the scene ends. So Thomas Jane was told to taunt and piss off Burt Reynolds when the cameras was supposed to be off. And he tried to tip Thomas Jane in the nuts. And then apparently Burt found out and apologized with sending like a 6-pack of beer to Thomas Jane. I think someone thought it would be like a bottle of wine, but I think, like Thomas Jane, I think says it's a 6-pack of beer. So apparently, yeah, Thomas Jane, because the director wanted to fuck around, Thomas Jane got kneed in the nuts by an angry Burt Reynolds, and then sent a 6-pack of beer as an apology. Burt Reynolds thought so little of his Golden Globe for Boogie Nights, he auctioned it off in 2014 and it sold for $21,000, but he kept the certificate for his Oscar nomination. Well, I guess if you're going to be honest, no one ever talks about the Golden Globes. I mean, to be honest. Of course, it's Alfred Molina, yeah. Alfred Molina, who was Doc Ock in Spider-Man 2. He was at the very beginning of Raiders of the Lost Ark. Yeah, this whole bit with the firecracker apparently was inspired by both Paul Thomas Anderson's father and Robert Downey Sr.'s film Putty Swope, where a character sets off a firecracker and everyone turns and looks. I don't mind the song Sister Christian. Oh, here's the build up. All the fucking firecrackers. God damn it, Doc Ock, put on some fucking pants. Like this bit with Alfred Molina, I don't think it needed to go on for this long. It's not a bad scene, but it just goes on for so long, man. Crying out loud, like, does it need to go on for this long? But I guess it's really showcase, like, look where we're at now. Do you really want to be here, or do you want to be somewhere else? Just really showcase just the fruitless venture of this is what you want to do to get drugs. Is this really what you want to spend your night at with this guy and his underwear, firecrackers, and a guy playfully thinking he's going to blow his own brains out? Try to talk like the Micro Machines guy as fast as possible. Yes, stop with the fucking firecrackers, man. Now we got Jesse's girl song. I don't mind this song either. Not a bad mixtape so far. I guess the whole point of the firecrackers is also keep the audience like the characters, where you try to jump like this, wonder what the hell's going to happen next. But again, it's like the whole thing's like him almost seeing the entire fucking song. Like, can we get the scene going? Can we get the scene moving? But I guess the whole point of this look is that he's drugged out. He's in this phase. And you can't look away. You're not going to let the audience look away. And you see this dawning on his face of, what the fuck am I doing and where the fuck am I? And I like that. I do like that bit. Because it just showcases, like, wait a minute. What the fuck am I doing here? Why am I here? Why is this happening? This is fucking stupid that I'm here. You know what? I need to go move on. Because he comes at a realization. No one forces him. No one tricks him. No one makes him. You literally see his culmination of his thought process going, this is not the way to be, to go. I need to get the fuck out of here. Oh shit. There you go. Yeah, Tom and Jane just losing it. Well, this is how I acted when No More Punisher sequel. Ooh, Ryan's stomach. Yeah, you need to get the. Ooh, shit. Yeah, you see how the front of the Corvette is wrecked. You see the front bumper and such was wrecked, so that's where it was hit by a telephone pole. Deleted scene. I didn't notice that before, but yeah, if you rewind it, concentrate on the front bumper. Yeah, you see it's a bit fucked up. Of course, what could go worse? Lack of fucking gasoline. Yeah, no fame, no money, no gas. Your car's a bit fucked up. Kind of like what more can happen? What more can happen? Pin up shit creek without battle. God damn, man. Like, what the fuck more am I supposed to do? That's he's like, what the fuck more am I supposed to do? That's a good question, man. 1983, of course, the year I was born. But I think this may be going down to 84. Of course, in reality, Burt Reynolds' character would be calling the cops and get this fucking asshole out of my house, and he'd be arrested, maybe in detox, and he would move on. And but I mean, do you want reality or do you want movie? Yeah, I guess what he means by the family, you have the sort of the father, Burt Reynolds, the mother, Julianne Moore, and the son here. Word. Far away from those cowboy days. So Heather Graham's Taylor's going to finish school. Well, this guy, he did what he deserves for what he was doing with underage people. Can't say I feel sorry for this character, Colonel. think that's misspelled. Rodriguez. Is this supposed to be a G? But it looks like a Q. Yeah. I mean, that was pretty funny with Louise Guzman. Okay, John C. Reilly became a magician. Did he ever showcase earlier that he was into magic? Maybe he did, I wasn't paying attention, so. Magician with a little bit of naughtiness. I mean, like the director says, like the characters don't really change, so maybe that's the thing. Is like it's 2.5 hours long, and there's not really a lot of development. It's just kind of you're there, and we don't deal like as long of a running time as it is. Like, if I think about what do I really know about Don Cheadle, he wanted to start a store. His old girlfriend left him. He got a new girlfriend. That's pretty much it that you know about him. Seymour Hoffman, he had a crush on Mark Wahlberg, and then after that scene, that kind of just, he really wasn't in the movie much. I mean, he's in the background, but that's it. There's really nothing else that the character showcase does, part of, anything in between. I mean, I guess I didn't... be happy he didn't go the typical route that he becomes this crazy stalker and stuff. So I guess I could appreciate that. But yeah, this is the final point of the director is showcasing. The first shot was a one-track shot. Here we go again, where we see, again, we see we saw Louise Guzman, we saw Philip Seymour Hoffman. There's John C. Reilly. Yeah, Cuba Gooding Jr.'s... Cuba Gooding Jr.'s Endgame, I think was the last... Was the last film I saw Burt Reynolds in? Was it a new film? I'm just saying that because I miss Burt Reynolds a lot, and he just got nothing in his career. That might have been the last of the newer films I saw of his. There might have been another one, I just completely forgot it. His Endgame was like a direct-to-video from Cuba Gooding Jr. Burt Reynolds had a nothing part. I had to look up it. It just, I miss Burt Reynolds. So we got Don Cheadle in there, we got, you know, everybody else. Let me look at his filmography again. Endgame with Cuba Gooding Jr. was 2006. Was it 2006? Movie-wise, I think. Yeah. Broken Bridges, Grilled, forget about it. Grilled, I might have seen that film, but I don't remember a thing about it. And The Name of the King, I forgot about it. Yeah, I just talked about it earlier, The Name of the King. Because a lot of these movies, like Miami Love Affair, Hamlet and Hutch, A Magic Christmas, A Bunch of Amateurs. So, in The Name of the King, Endgame, the last two films I remember seeing them in, of newer, and that was disappointing. Disappointing as hell. Then the X-Files episode, Improbable, in season 8 or 9 of X-Files. Might be, I think it's season 8. So Mark Wahlberg has the Miami Vice look here. And This is where we see his dick, which I didn't need to see. I don't know what the reason was for showing it. I guess just because. I don't know. I don't really need to see. I mean, I know it's prosthetic and fake, but I really don't need to see this. Look at the top of the screen. Look at the top of the screen for him to move along. Okay. Do his little karate thing. I guess to just give some kind of exclamation point to to get people saying something about the movie. I just, hey, we need them. We want to. I want someone to be talking about something at the end of the movie, so why not his dick, so to speak. But with that said, that is Boogie Nights. For the few that stuck with me on this, thank you so much. Thank you once again to Shawn for your kindness, generosity. I hope I tried to do the best I could. If I did not, I apologize. If so, thank you so much. And we will see you guys later. Rest in peace to Burt Reynolds. Rest in peace to Seymour Hoffman, Philip Baker Hall, and others. Ricky J, some of the actors in it. And yeah, we'll see you guys later.